All right, in grade 2, we are on part 5. At least not all these videos have been 20 minutes long, so some are shorter than others, so hopefully you're staying in it. This is the end of our work for week 5, okay? And so I gave you 6 problems from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then these would be the 5 problems for Thursday. And I know some of you have not logged on yet, and I want to encourage you to keep doing the work. I don't want to have to keep sending texts and notifications, so please stay up with this. Okay, what I left on was part 4. I left on our tables right there, because I'm going to let that guide us so I can refer to it. Remember in part 4, I asked you to graph all of these on Desmos so you could see the picture that I had from the last example. So we're going to do 3 examples right now, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put them all on the same graph. Okay? And so I have one graph here, and I'm going to do the 3 problems. So we'll do the work, and we'll do the problem. So what you might want to do right now is write this down. Okay? I have it kind of set up already. Pause the video so you have a chance to write it down, and then unpause it, and you can do the lesson with me. And remember, just pause the video anytime I'm getting too fast and you need to get caught up. All right, so here we go. So here's the first problem. Y equals 2x squared plus 12x plus 17. And A is 2, B is 12, and C is 17. And once again, we use that if we're solving with the quadratic formula. And I could very easily add in and say, hey, by the way, solve using the quadratic formula. So you always want to keep that in your back pocket. Okay, so 2 and 12 are going to be our key numbers here. And part 2, our parabola is going up because A is positive. I might write up right here just to remind me so that it's going up. And then part 3 is our axis of symmetry. 3 and 4 is where the real work is done and where we have to be careful. So remember, it's x equals negative b over 2a, and so our b is 12. And our A value is 2. And that means our x, our axis of symmetry, is x equals negative 3. X equals negative 3. And so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to make our axis of symmetry at negative 3. Okay, so here I am at negative 3. This is my x value for my vertex. I know my parabola is somewhere on this line. Okay, I know the vertex is sitting there. So I know my x value. Now I'm going to plug in and find my y value. So here we go. So we need to protect with parentheses. And then we do order of operations. Once again, you can probably type this all into your calculator using parentheses and get the answer. Okay? But if you're going to do the order of operations, it is not 2 times negative 3. You got to do negative 3 first. So it's negative 3 squared is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. So that's the part when you get to these problems, it gets a lot more difficult. People start messing up with their order of operations. So we have y equals 18. minus 36 plus 17, y equals negative 1. Okay, y equals negative 1, and that is my vertex. My vertex is there's my vertex. Negative 3, comma negative 1. And so I have my vertex. I actually just graphed it right now on my axis of symmetry. And so now I'm going to go part to the left, one step to the left, one step to the left, one step to the right. I'm going to have negative 2 and negative 4. And I'm going to have negative 1 and negative 5. We know these two answers are the same. We know these two answers are the same. What you could do is plug negative 2 into your formula and get an answer. You could plug in negative 1 into the formula and get an answer. Or we can come back over here and remember our numbers are 13, and then we double that to 26, and we add 13 more. So we are in the 26 region right here. So this says that we add 2 and that we add 6. So negative 1 plus 2 is 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. Okay? And I guarantee you, if you plug these in here, this would be your y value. These answers are the same. 1 and 7. So we have a 5-point parabola. We're starting here. We're going out 1, up 2, out 1, up 6, and there's going to be our shape. So let's see if it works. Negative 2 comma 1, and its symmetrical partner there. Negative 1 comma 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned it, but I made my graphs go 7 up, 7 down, 7 left, 7 right. And we have our parabola, okay? And notice that this parabola is a little bit tighter, okay? Remember in part 4, it's a little bit tighter. So here's our normal parabola. And then if I have a equals 2, look at how we're just a little bit tighter. Multiplying by the factor of 2, okay, sorry, right here, is going to shoot our y value up a little bit faster. All right, take a look at this because it looks like there's a lot of work here, but remember, this is just getting me ready to do the problem. So you got to plug it in, watch your signs. You got to be careful here, but then you have a system in place that will get you your other 4 points. We kind of call this a 5-point parabola. I would like you to have 5 points on each problem. Okay? All right, so that is example 1. And so I'm going to go ahead and get ready and do example 2. So let's get ready for it. Right. Take a look at that. So I just erased this off. You're going to have to start maybe in a new area. But look at, all we did was the stuff in blue. if you kind of think about it. So a lot of this can be set up. Look, I just kind of left it set up ahead of time. So it's the same problem over and over again, but just the values change. And depending on our A value is where we'll graph the rest of our points. So we're going to do y equals negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 13. And we're going to do this on the same graph, okay? So we're going to work on the same graph together here. So they might overlap or whatever, but I think that's fine. So go ahead and get this problem ready, get it set up. Once again, pause the video if you have to go ahead and get it set up. And I'm going to do this graph in red. Okay, so go ahead and pause, and then we'll continue back. Okay. A is negative 2. B is 12, and C is negative 13. My parabola is going down, okay? Parabola is going down because my A value is negative. Okay, axis of symmetry. We have B is 12, C is negative 2, negative 12 over negative 4 is 3. Remember from integrated 1, if you have x by itself, x equals 3 is a vertical line that goes through 3, or where the x value is 3 all the way. So, I'm going to do my axis of symmetry. I know my parabola is going down, okay, so I know I have a parabola that's going down, but I need to find the vertex. So we watched our signs, we're looking really good right there, so let's plug in. Okay, once again, type it all in the calculator, do your parentheses, or remember that's going to be negative 2 times 9. Do not multiply before you do the exponent. So I get negative 18 plus 36, notice how I underline the plus sign, minus 13, and I get a value of 5. So my vertex is 3, 5. And I can mark it on my graph. Okay, to the left is 2, to the right is 4. Going one more step, we have 1 and 5. And we know these have the same answers, and this has the same answer. Okay, coming back here, if A is negative 2, so in the last problem we went up 2, and we went up 6, but now we're going to go down. So you can just read it like this. 5 minus 2 is 3. And 3 minus 6 is negative 3. Now once again, if you're not comfortable with that, you'll have to plug these in and do the same thing here. I think this is a lot nicer to learn. 13, 26, and 39. I just memorized 13 and know that if it's 2, I multiply by 2 for 26. And if it's 3, I multiply 13 times 3 for 39. So I don't need to remember this. All I have to do is remember this and simply multiply it kind of to the A value. Because of symmetry, these answers are the same, these answers are the same. So let's finish our graph. There is 2, 3 and 4, 3. And then I'm going to go 1, negative 3 and 5, negative 3. Sketch your parabola. And notice that 3 is slightly tighter. You're going to learn in IM3, we're going to start using words like vertical stretch, horizontal stretch, compression to describe what the graph is doing from the parent graph. Remember, we call this the parent graph. And so a lot of the stuff that you're doing now is going to be really helpful if you are practicing this with me, okay, and you're really working at this, even though it's tough to do all this from home, it's really going to pay off next year. And not doing it is really going to kind of maybe set you back. Okay, so here is matching up. We have our example right here. I think it looks good. I don't think I've made any mistakes. So I'm going to do one more example with you. So I'm going to erase all this out and we'll do one more problem together. So you can get the next problem ready. You can pause the video. I'm just going to erase this real quick. All right, a little messy, but it's working. So let's go ahead and do the last problem. So our last problem, I'm going to give you an A value. We're actually going to do an A value of negative 3. So it's negative 3x squared minus 6x plus 2. Okay? I made a mistake a few seconds ago. These have the same shape. Okay? So this is A is 2, and this is A is negative 2. So I said that one was skinnier than the other. That's not true. I was thinking a little bit ahead of this problem. Okay, so forget what I said about that. These should have the same shape. All right, this one is the one that's going to be different. And of course, I'm not going to pause and redo the video. So let's get our A values in. So A is negative 3. B is negative 6, and C is 2. Our parabola is going to go down. Because A is negative. So I declared these things ahead of time. I know I got a parabola going down. And so I'm going to do my axis of symmetry. So there is a negative 6 with a negative 3. And that is going to give me 6 over negative 6 for a negative 1. Okay? So my axis of symmetry is x equals -1.